Actually, pretty much for the rest of the year.
My TI 73 is
What's wrong with yours?
I don't know where it is. And the other for my other one, the charger, I don't know where it is.
So wait, did I check you out one?
Yeah. So I'm gonna have to pay for it.
If I have enough to give to everyone that.
No. Like in this hour when I come in here and I do this.
No, I don't want to do that every day. You gotta roll your eyes at me because you lost your freaking calculator.
No, I was in my backpack. That's all I got to say.
So, you gotta find it or replace it. Because what's gonna happen is you'll borrow it, and one day you'll just walk away with it, you'll forget that again, and then I lose contract. You know what I mean? And it's not personal. Like, I'll help you.
bad boy made it through all of high school and stuff. Doesn't have the capability.
I never took you out one.
So sad.
But you could.
It got me through it.
You just
Actually, what brought me down was I just couldn't get higher. But my math
let's go through. Yeah, what's yours?
was pretty happy.
I always
What?
I don't know what I was saying.
I don't know either.
Brain just.
Okay.
All I know is you tried to crash it.
Are we good on one?
I'm not.
One's fine, right? Nobody said anything, but I'm saying yes. Okay. Number 2. There are 2 ways you can do this. One way is to just look at like what you get after you're done. So if I paid $2 and I win 200, I end up with 198. That's one way to do it. The other way is just forget the $2 and just put 200 there and subtract 2 at the end. So I'll go through both. I'm going to subtract 2 at the end. The first time through, so I got 0.3, 0.3, 0.4 for my probabilities. So I'm forgetting that I paid $2. 30% of the time I win 200. 30% of the time I get my money back, which if I paid $2, how much did I get then? Would be 2. And then I lose 200 40% of the time. So I would calculate all of this and then subtract 2. So I got negative 19.4 when I did that. Other people get anything similar? Same thing. So negative 19.4. And then minus 2. So I got negative $21.4. The other way to do it is basically you just take this negative 2 and distribute it through to each spot. So I'm going to make that 198. I'm going to make that 0. I'm going to make that negative 202. I'm not going to subtract anymore because I subtracted in each individual situation instead of overall at the end. You'll get the same answer. Kind of work through that either way. I'm curious, how many did the minus 2 at the end? So that's easier for most people. How many did like the distribute the minus 2? Anybody? Oh, okay. Questions on it either way? Alright, and then for 3, so just remember the little trick here. Seems to trip people up. Hopefully it's not. But the first doctor I go to, I got a 70% chance of them curing me. They cost $50. There's a 30% chance that I have to keep going. Like the first doctor didn't cure me. And if I have to keep going, how much money will I have paid in total? $250, right? You paid the first 50 already. That's gone. So now there's a 30% chance that you'll end up paying a total of $250. So it's 0.7 times 50 plus 0.3 times 250. Anybody got that for me? 110. There wasn't a lot of confirmation from the class there. Oh, okay. How come no one said, yeah, 110, 110? Because it's 8:30 in the morning. Questions on that? Okay. That's out your worksheet. We'll start going through today's stuff. You do need a TI 84. I've loaned out all I have. So if you don't have one, go sit by someone that does or something.
I got it.
Alright, quiet please. So we've basically done, like we've worked with these a little bit. We're going to go through how to graph them, which is not a big deal. We have already done the mean. Calculator does the mean too, so I'm going to show you how to do the calculator. And then how to do standard deviation, which you kind of need the calculator for. Okay, so this is, X is the number of customers that make a purchase during the first hour. 10% of the time, nobody makes a purchase the first hour is open. 10% of the time, one person does. 10% of the time, two people do. Does that make sense how the chart is being read there? So, what's the probability? What's the probability no customers make a purchase during the first hour? That's just 10% or 0.1. You're just reading off like the zero. What's the probability that the number of customers that make a purchase during the first hour is more than 2? So we start to get into the next couple chapters. Realize like more than, less than, at least, and at most. So if I say like more than 3, is 3 included? No. If I say at least 3, is 3 included? Yes. If I say less than 3, is 3 included? No. If I say at most 3, is 3 included? Yes. So that becomes like, you just gotta be careful because it's easy to kind of screw those up. So more than 2. So more than 2, does more than 2 include 2? It does not, so I'm just doing 3 and 4. So 0.1 and 0.6, and I'm adding those up. So that's 0.70, or you could say 70%. Fair enough? So just be careful with that wording, the more than, or at most, or at least, all that stuff. Probability distribution histogram. So I want to make a histogram. Down here, I'm going to put the possible outcomes. So 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. So we're going to label everything, right? Context. So that's the number of purchases. It's been a while since we've done histograms. What goes on the y-axis? Frequency. So 0 to 1, 0 to 10, 0 to 1, 0 to 10. 0 to 1, 0 to 10, 0 to 1, 0 to 10. 0 to 1, 0 to 10, 0 to 1, 0 to 10. 0 to 1, 0 to 10, 0 to 1, 0 to 10. 0 to 1, 0 to 10, 0 to 1, 0 to 10. 0 to 1, 0 to 10, 0 to 1, 0 to 10. 0 to 1, 0 to 10, 0 to 1, 0 to 10. 0 to 1, 0 to 10, 0 to 1, 0 to 10. 0 to 1, 0 to 10, 0 to 1, 0 to 10. 0 to 1, 0 to 10, 0 to 1, 0 to 10. 0 to 1, 0 to 10, 0 to 1, 0 to 10. 0 to 1, 0 to 10, 0 to 1, 0 to 10. 0 to 1, 0 to 10, 0 to 1, 0 to 10. 0 to 1, 0 to 10, 0 to the highest your frequency can ever be is 1. We don't need to go all the way up to 1. The highest one is 0.6 in this case. But then you're just making like a bar graph, you know, so you put 10% chance of 1, 10% chance of 0, 1, 2, 3, and then on this one we got a 60% chance of 4 purchases. So like if I'm running the store, I see there's a 60% chance that I'll get 4 purchases in the first hour I'm open. So to me, it's worth it to be open. You know, like that's kind of what you use this for. Then we need a title. Purchase, first hour, something like that. The title's not like what you put isn't that big of a deal. Just that you put something is a big deal. And then the mean and standard deviation. So you guys go ahead and find the mean. That's what we did in the warm up. We did it yesterday. That's the expected value formula. So go ahead and do that. And then I will show you how to do it in the calculator. So the way that you know so far, is 0.1 times 0 plus 0.1 times 1 plus 0.1 times 2 plus 0.1 times 3 plus 0.6 times 4. So again, you're multiplying those all together and then adding up each one. You guys get 3? Alright, so there's your mean. The standard deviation by hand is pretty ridiculous calculation, and you never expected to know it. So we're gonna do the calculator. So grab your calculator, or if you need to sit by someone that has theirs, go for it. And this is being recorded, so you can always check this later. Hit stat. Didn't lose anybody yet. We're good so far. Hit edit. So I don't know if you guys have data in there. I do. Remember, you can go up to the top, like the top of the header there, and hit clear, then enter. Don't hit delete, because that means destroy. And you'll lose your row. So I'm going to clear both those out. And then the X is your L1, and the probabilities go in L2. So in my L1, I'm putting 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. You all good so far? So there's like 10 questions. You destroyed it?
Yeah.
I just have to reset the memory. There's probably a better way. L1, you go to second memory and hit clear all lists. So second plus sign is memory. And then if you hit clear all lists, it gives you your L1 back. Don't do it now because you got your stuff typed in. So the L1 is the top row with the numbers, and the L2 is the probabilities. They have to go like attached to each other, right? Like the 4 and the 0.6 have to be next to each other because we're trying to represent that 4 happens 60% of the time. We good here? Everybody need to look at it or need more time? Alright, so then hit second mode or second quit to get back to your main home screen there. And then hit stat again. We want to calculate. Now be careful here. I know we got 2 lists, but how many variables are we working with right now? If you tell me 2, I want to know what they are. So frequency is not a variable. So frequency is just like how many times it happens. So there's one variable here. So it's super easy to get confused because we put 2 rows, 2 columns of data in. But L1 is the data, and L2 is just how often that happens. So the only variable we have is customers' purchases. So it's one variable stats. Where it comes in that there's 2 is like my guess is you guys have a 1 here right now, or nothing. You got to put L2 there because the frequencies, the list of frequencies, the 0.1, 0.1, 0.6, all that is in L2. So how do you type L2? It's the second button and then the number 2. So like the second button gives you the blue stuff, and then L2 is down here. I don't know if you can see my pen is. Then you can type L2, and then you calculate. Now I know some of you don't have this menu, right? Wow. So if you don't have the menu, so there's your answer. What's the mean? I'm gonna get to you. I'm gonna circle back. So your mean's 3. We already knew that, right? And what's your standard deviation? Is your 1.414. Can I see someone's who doesn't have the menu? Because I know not everyone pops up like that. So some of you I know look like this. So if you go calculate one variable stats, again, there's one variable, it's just in 2 spots. This one's harder to remember because it doesn't pop up with like, hey, there's 2 things. You gotta remember there's 2 columns with information, and now you have to type L1, comma L2. You gotta tell it, I want stats on one variable, but there's information about that variable in L1 and in L2. So you have to type it, and then you get the same thing. How many have this set up where it doesn't give you like the prompts? It's a little goofier, but it's alright. Does that make sense? Questions on that one? So the hard part of this is definitely the calculator, I think. I'm just gonna go to the back. We'll practice the calculator part for a bit, then we'll go back to the worksheet. Let's say 10, 20, 30. Probabilities are 0.4, 0.2, 0.4. What should find the mean and standard deviation? So just practicing the same process we just did. I'll talk through it again, but let me give you a chance to try it with me. Shut my mouth. He's like, I just want to use it. so let me just run through it again. Looks like most of you got it, but just in case. So to start from scratch, I go stat, edit. If these were like not what I wanted, I hit clear and then enter, and I can knock out that whole list. So I can start typing again. So the values of the variable go in L1, the probabilities of that variable go in L2. I'm gonna back out of that, click back to my main screen, stat, calculate. Again, I have one variable here, it's X. Like it's not X and Y, it's just X and the probability of X. So one variable stats. If you didn't have these in, you type L1 there and L2 there. Or if you have like that other version, you put L1 comma L2. Calculate, and then that's what you should get. So your mean should be 20, your standard deviation 8.9. Raise your hand if you got that. Questions I can help with? Alright, let's have you guys do number 2. Like the whole number 2. I've kind of worked through it a little bit after you, so you can check, but I'm not giving it away. How's it going, Mr. Shin? Thanks for stopping in. You just watch your chart. What's the greatest lunch? What was it? Sorry about that flipping back and forth there. There's your probability distribution table. I didn't ask you to grab this one. That's what we just did, right? On the calculator. Were you asking a question? You were just talking. Sorry to interrupt. But be careful with like the greater than less than too. So if it just says greater than or less than, where you're not including that number. So like this one, you're not including the 1. You want to be between 1 and 3, but you're not including the 1 or the 3. It's really just 2. Those are your numbers there. That's what I got for the second part of number 2. 3.5. So I'm looking at all the numbers on the table that are bigger than 3.5, which are just 4 and 5. And adding up those two probabilities, that's how I got 0.3. This is like between 1 and 3, but there's no or equals there, so you're not including the 1 or the 3. So it's really just 2. So I'm just reading up what's probability of 2. And this is less than 5, so I take all the things that are less than 5, so 4, 3, 2, 1, and 0, and add those up. Or just subtract the 5 from 1. What? Me? Yeah, I got one. Like my Christmas present. Yeah, but that's just like the cheesiest authority. I can't do that. It like flashes lights and plays music like there's like speakers on the outside. So you can literally drive down the street like blasting music. It's so
What's that? You're right? You got speakers on the outside?
Yeah. But it's like I'm so embarrassed.
Let's hear it, man. Fire it up.
Ride around, play the
Windows.
tunes. And there's like a light show it does. Just look at me.
The wrestling's over. Like making the spray or something. You have to give me a ride. Man, I'm just always busting. I mean, I gotta like ring the bell rings every day now. You thinking for integrated like after this stuff, thinking maybe stats?
Sure.
Cause she's doing quadratics right now. Like they're just starting foiling, factoring. They're gonna build their own unit. So probably
You don't want to do that.
I'd rather wait till like 3 weeks until she's done with it.
Okay.
Then we can maybe just focus a little bit more on just the SAT part.
Okay, yeah. That's cool.
I don't know. I thought since we just did percents recently, and stats is kind of a low-hanging fruit where you might be able to pick up another 3 or 4 questions. That,
Just because I've never seen it
and
before.
it's not super tough to teach.
Yeah.
A lot of those two-way table things.
Works for me. Yeah.
No,
You guys all right on number 2 here? All right, do number 3. And then we'll do 4. Like 4 will be like your warm up tomorrow, basically. So do number 3 and check that. Just doing some reps, get in your brain a little bit. Get some shots up. Run through the offense a little bit of skeleton. You guys are winning the league right now. Like dice, but there's only one. He's a little tricky guy. How many variables are there here? 1, it's just the number on the die. Sure. If you're anywhere close, then they're going to take it. They just want to see that you're like thinking about context. If you put what is a die, you might be in trouble. No, it's weird. No one ever says die. Dice. Yeah. Right, it's like a death problem. you're an actuary, calculate the probability that people are going to die and when, how much you should charge them for insurance. Morbid, isn't it? But also like interesting, I think.
Did you go to Chicago to pick up your Tesla?
No, did you not?
We had to take a bus to Chicago and back.
Seriously? I did a trade-in, so I didn't have to do the bus thing. And there's one in like Clarkston, Pontiac area. It's like an hour and a half, but it's not Chicago. What if you need service?
I didn't think the Tesla dealerships, because they don't go through dealerships. Did they get around the?
They must now. I don't know. When did your dad buy his?
A couple years ago.
Well, not that long ago. I don't know. I didn't have any issues. They just, like, I know it went to Chicago because they told me, like, your car's in Chicago now. It'll be in whatever 2 days. But yeah.
Michigan has a law where all car car manufacturers have to sell them through dealerships. And Tesla's like, no, we're not gonna.
They just decided not to follow it.
So
Maybe they do now.
if they got around it or they do now, but they did. But we got.
That's freaking annoying.
Yeah,
That's like what, a 5-hour bus trip?
it was something.
It was something, yeah. And then you got what? Take a cab to the.
I think it was close enough.
Oh, okay.
We made a little trip out.
Yeah, yeah.
And then my dad ran into like 3 curves on the way back.
Are you serious?
Oh yeah, that's serious.
It's weird to get used to driving. Do you drive it?
I do.
The one pedal takes a little time.
wacky.
It's what?
It's wacky.
It's
Because like you think, oh, it's time to like coast.
yeah,
Nope, it's not time to coast.
yeah. And it's hard to go back and forth. Like when I drive my wife's now, I'm like, wait a minute.
My dad drove my car to Kroger yesterday, and when he was parking, he ran into my mom's car.
Yeah, because he thought it was gonna break when he took it off.
Yep.
Yeah. Like when I drive my wife's, I take it off the brake. I'm like, why am I flying?
She hit the garage. Yes. I remember that. Yeah. See, no, my mom doesn't like parking very close to anything. She likes having very close. Which means that I can't get my car parked like out of the sidewalk. So me, my brother, and my dad always push her closer.
Alright, let's go do this one. Get a check before you go. So the variable, the one variable is the number on the die. Here's my table. So greater than 3.5 basically means I've added up these three. So that's 3/12. Between 2 and 4.2, but the 2 is included, the 4.2 is not, but that doesn't matter because 4.2. So you want the 2, 3, and 4 added up. My mean and standard deviation, I'll do the second thing in a second. My mean is 2.33. Let's stop putting your stuff away, please. I'm still talking. Standard deviation is 1.7. Am I wrong? Am I wrong? 910, right? Call me ass. Smallest number A. So this is a tough one. This is the wording is hard. Basically, I want to find the smallest number for A possible that makes this true. So let's say I put a 1 there. Is the probability that X is less than 1 bigger than 0.6? What's the probability X is less than 1? 0, isn't it? Like, there's no numbers less than 1. Okay, so 1 is not the smallest number that's going to work there. I'm just going to keep going up until I find it works. I'll put a 2 there. Let's say I make A equal to 2. What's the probability X is less than 2? Is 1/2. Is is 0.5 greater than 0.6? No. So that didn't make it true. So that I gotta keep going with bigger number. So let's say I make this a 3. What's the probability x is less than 3? Well, now I gotta add these two up. And if I do that, it's like 0.63 something. So it is bigger than 0.6. So the smallest number I could possibly put there to make this true is 3. That's a tough one. I wouldn't expect to see a ton of those. Just want to show you one. Now you can put your stuff away. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk. Yeah, give me your calculators back.
Sorry. I dropped it.
Throwing it all over the place. You're deleting my L1s.
That was not me. That was